Hi, fifth graders. So we started chapter 18 yesterday and called Castle in the Sky, in the air. And we met the census taker. And so he took away all of your senses, except he couldn't take their sense of humor because they were laughing. So I'm going to start a little bit back from where we ended, just so we can get into it again. And then I'm going to continue and read the rest of chapter 18, and then I'm going to go from there. Is that a timer? I warned you. I warned you I was the census taker, sneered the census taker. I help people find what they're not looking for, hear what they're not listening for, run after what they're not chasing, and smell what isn't even there. And furthermore, he cackled, hopping around gleefully on his stubby legs. I'll steal your sense of purpose, take your sense of duty, destroy your sense of proportion, but for one thing, you'll be helpless yet. What's that? Asked Milo fearfully. As long as you have the sound of laughter, he groaned unhappily. I cannot take your sense of humor, and with it, you've nothing to fear from me. But what about them? Cried the terrified bug, for at the very instant, the other demons had reached the top at last, and they were leaping forward to seize them. They ran for the stairs, bowling over the disconsolate census taker, ledger, ink bottle, eye shade, and all as they went. The humbug dashed up first, then Tok, and lastly Milo, almost too late, as a scaly arm brushed his shoe. The dangerous stairs danced dizzily in the wind, and the clumsy demons refused to follow, but they howled with rage and fury, swore bloody revenge, and watched with many pairs of burning eyes as the three small shapes vanished slowly into the clouds. Don't look down, advised Milo as the bug tottered upward on unsteady legs. Like a giant corkscrew, the stairway twisted through the darkness, steep and narrow, and with no rail to guide them. The wind howled cruelly in an effort to tear them loose, and the fog dragged clammy fingers down their backs. But up the giddy flight they went, each one helping the others, until at last the clouds parted, the darkness fell away, and a glow of golden sun rays warmed their arrival. The castle gate swung smoothly open, and on a rug as soft as the snowdrift, they entered the great hall, and they stood shyly waiting. Come right in, please. We've been expecting you, sang out two sweet voices in unison. At the far end of the hall, a silver curtain parted, and two young women stepped forward. They were dressed all in white and were beautiful beyond compare. One was grave and quiet, with a look of warm understanding in her eyes, and the other seemed happy and joyful. You must be the Princess of Pure Reason, said Milo, bowing to the first. She answered simply, yes. And that was just enough. Then you are Sweet Rhyme, he said, with a smile to the other. Her eyes sparkled brightly, and she answered with a laugh as friendly as the mailman's ring when you know there's a letter for you. We've come to rescue you both, Milo explained very seriously. And the demons are close behind, said the worried humbug, still shaking from his ordeal. And we should leave right away, advised Tok. Oh, they won't dare come up here, said Reason gently, and we'll be down there soon enough. Why not sit for a moment and rest, suggested Rhyme. I'm sure you must be tired. Have you been traveling long? Days, sighed the exhausted dog, curling up in a large downy cushion. Weeks, corrected the bug, flopping into a deep, comfortable armchair, for it did seem that way to him. It has been a long trip, said Milo, climbing onto the couch where the princesses sat. But we would have been here much sooner if I hadn't made so many mistakes. I'm afraid it's all my fault. Here he is sitting next to Rhyme and Reason. And he looks so sad. You must never feel badly about making mistakes, explained Reason quietly, as long as you take the trouble to learn from them. For you often learn more by being wrong for the right reasons than you do by being right for the wrong reasons. But there's so much to learn, he said with a thoughtful frown. Yes, that's true, admitted Rhyme. But it's not just learning things that's important. It's learning what to do with what you learn and learning why you learn things that also matter. That's just what I mean, exclaimed Milo as Talk and the exhausted bug drifted quietly off to sleep. Many of the things I'm supposed to know seem so useless that I can't see the purpose in learning them at all. You may not see it now, said the princess of pure reason, looking knowingly at Milo's puzzled face. But whatever we learn has a purpose, and whatever we do affects everything and everyone else, if even in the tiniest way. Why, when a housefly flaps his wings, a breeze goes around the entire world. When a speck of dust falls to the ground, the entire planet weighs a little more. And when you stamp your foot, the earth moves slightly off its course. Whenever you laugh, gladness spreads like ripples in a pond. And whenever you're sad, no one anywhere can really be happy. And it's much the same thing with knowledge. For whenever you learn something new, the whole world becomes much richer. And remember also, added the princess of sweet rhyme, that many places you would like to see are just off the map, and many things you want to know are just out of sight, or a little beyond your reach. But someday you'll reach them all, for what you learn today for no reason at all will help you discover all the wonderful secrets of tomorrow. I think I understand, he said, still full of questions and thoughts. But which is the most important? At that moment, the conversation was interrupted by a far-off chopping noise. With each loud blow, the entire room and everything in it shook and rattled. Down below on the murky peak, the demons were busily cutting the stairway loose with axes and hammers and saws. Before long, the whole thing collapsed with a tremendous crash, and the startled humbug leaped to his feet just in time to see the castle drifting slowly off into space. We're moving, he shouted, which was a fact that had already become obvious to everyone. I think we had better leave now, said Rhyme softly, and Reason agreed with a nod. But how will we get down? Groaned the humbug, looking at the wreckage below. There's no stairway, and we're sailing higher every minute. Here we have the princesses and Talk and Milo and Humbug. Because something's going to happen. Well, time flies, doesn't it? Asked Milo. On many occasions, barked Talk, jumping eagerly to his feet. I'll take everyone down. Can you carry us all? Inquired the bug. For a short distance, said the dog thoughtfully. The princesses can ride on my back, Milo can catch hold of my tail, and you can hang on to his ankles. But what of the castle in the air? The bug objected, not very pleased with the arrangement. Sorry. Let it drift away, said Rhyme. And good riddance, added Reason, for no matter how beautiful it seems, it's still nothing but a prison. Talk looked back up 3 steps and with a running start bounded through the window with all his passengers and began the long glide down. The princesses sat tall and unafraid. Milo held on as tight as he could, and the bug swung crazily like the tail of a kite. Down through the darkness, they plunged to the mountains and monsters below. So that's what we saw there. And we heard a well-known idiom that says that time flies. And when we say time flies, we don't actually mean that time literally flies with wings. What we mean is that time goes really, really fast. So let your sub know right now by raising your hand if you have ever heard somebody say time flies when you're having fun, or any kind of anything like that where somebody has said time flies. Just raise your hand. Don't say anything because I'm going to keep on talking. So people say time flies because what they really are saying is that time goes very fast and very quickly, and then we get what we want and what we need in that time. But what they're doing is they're taking that idiom and they're using that to give talk the ability to carry everybody to safety. So talk becomes a very, very, very important part of the book, whereas we always just thought, okay, he was just somebody that was going along for the ride, but really he's really important. Because of him, they are going to get to safety. So that is the end of chapter 18, and then we will read about the return of rhyme and reason tomorrow. I will talk to you later. Be good to yourself, and bye.